Mark,
Hey,
man,
Paul.
Beast World is over. We're moving on to something else now. We're gonna try, and I say try because that may be the operative word for this particular episode. But we're gonna try to dive into the first part of Joker, Year One, Part One, and we will do that right after this. So before we go any further, make sure that you hit the subscribe button. Make sure that you hit the like button. Make sure you leave a comment. Tell us how we're doing. Tell us what you think of this, what you think is happening, because it may be totally different from what we're about to tell you we think is happening. And like I said, just tell your friends. Take out a billboard. Tell people to watch us. Well, whatever you can do, we appreciate. But we are moving on to Batman, the Joker, Year One, Part One. This is a three-part weekly series within a series. So it's a three-part storyline within Batman. That is by Chip Zdarsky, Giuseppe Camicoli, and Andrea Sorrentino. So the two of them split the art, and it is. I guess kind of like the Joker himself. It seems to be a little bit chaotic in some ways, because it's flashing all over time. It's flashing back to year one, obviously, because that's the title. It's flashing to the future. It flashes. It picks up where the last story ended. It's
Like
got
the Killing Joke.
exactly the Killing Joke. It's got it flashes to 0 year. It flashes to it flashes all over the place.
It looked like
Um,
it flashes to Ben Affleck at one point, even.
yeah,
Since
yeah.
the Sorrentino does the art in like two different panels.
Yeah, exactly. We start in the where we ended the last episode. I mean, the last issue, I believe. We're right.
Not
No,
at
no,
all.
no. Sorry, Andrea Sorrentino. So we're in the future. Um,
Yeah, so we don't know if we're in the future or not. There's really no
right.
context. For time setting, Batman is currently beat up and in a jail cell with a beat up Joker,
Mhm.
and that was the cliffhanger ending.
Right.
Then we go to this, which feels like a completely standalone thing. So we're still waiting on time setting. That
Right.
was one of the things that threw me
Yeah,
off.
the reason why, and I misspoke before. The reason why I think it's the future is because he does say that many years ago he confirmed that it was the Red Mask who created the three Jokers, and he did that as part of the fail-safe and
That
thing.
was Batman 900 when we.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
Okay. So yeah, again,
Yep.
this is a lot. Like going into this, this is going to be a convoluted description. Even the issue is convoluted, and
Right.
yeah, this is going to be a lot to unpack.
Exactly. So Batman is basically doing a little bit of a mini
Autopsy on a victim of the
autopsy
Joker.
on the Joker, and he finds this red pill inside that is empty, but is made of the same stuff from the Red Mask,
Well,
the Red
then
Hood.
there again,
Sorry.
this isn't the Joker either, though.
Right.
Like he
Right.
even makes the comment like, "But this body isn't yours, of course not. I'll never get the chance to autopsy your madness." He's got a victim of his, I'm assuming, right?
Right, because we'll find out that at the end of the story, he
Yeah.
has Jokerized lots of people. So this is probably
Right.
one of those people that he has killed by Jokerizing them. And so Batman is trying to figure out probably how he died. And so
Yeah.
he kind of cuts into him and he finds that pill.
He finds a
So,
red pill and then he opens it and sees that it's empty, knowing that the pill isn't the clue, but the actual capsule is, and that gives him the flashback idea of how he originally had that capsule shaped red hood mask. And we flash back immediately to our first flashback, and it's just a fist coming at you, and then it's you looking from the bottom of an acid vat. It's
right.
taking us back to the
To the
Killing
killing.
Joke when he makes the fall into the acid vat. And we know it's the Killing Joke specifically because from the vat we go to the Joker crying on the ground in the rain, looking
Mhm.
at his hands, going to the iconic laughing image
Right.
from the Killing Joke, and that's where we take our first massive curveball.
Right, exactly. Yeah, I mean, they literally, whether he drew this or not, it literally they lifted Brian Boland's iconic image, like you said, of the Joker laughing. So,
But we go from the Joker laughing to us panning out,
mhm,
and then you see that there's two of them there.
Right.
And then we pan out some more, and you see that there's three of them there, and that's where we're getting the context and the reminder that it was the Red Mask, which is a Joker from another universe that was messing with the multiverse, that was a catalyst for creating the three Jokers. And we see them. I guess this is the first time of them being this is their origin right here, and they start kind of just fighting each other, and then they laugh it off. And this is the only reference we get to the three Jokers here, but at least it gives us the actual pinpoint, like this is where it happened, this is where it is inserted into the timeline, which I really enjoyed that aspect.
Right. Just a great one picture. And this is almost, I don't know if anyone saw the foil version of this comic, but this is the basically the panel, the foil version of the issue too. Just incredible. And then we jump back. So now we're back to year one again, because we see basically what we believe anyway, what I believe is the Joker going home to his wife or girlfriend, or whoever happens to be at the time, after the fall into the vat has happened, saying basically, I'll fix everything. Don't worry about it. I'll make everything right again.
Yeah, and he runs off, and she's left there confused while her real husband walks out of the house and was like, what just happened? Who was that?
Mm-hmm.
So what I took that as is one of the three Jokers are vastly confused, where this universe is not like whatever he's familiar with, and maybe in a different universe that was the right house, that was the right woman, but not here, because back in Killing Joke that would have been the right house.
Right, exactly.
But now it's not.
So is he not only jumping through time, but jumping through universes as well?
Yeah, I'm wondering if these now. Again, this is going to get convoluted, but it makes me wonder if these Jokers weren't necessarily created, but plucked from and put here.
Correct. So there are three, but they're all different, kind of like there are multiple Batmans. We've seen, hundreds of Batmans, basically. So are there hundreds of Jokers, just like the Red Mask was one of them?
Are there two worlds without a Joker now?
Right. Exactly.
Fast forward 6 months later, we go into an apartment building where we see a dead corpse, been there a while, and a naked Joker sitting and sulking on a chair, laughing, face grown out, landlord's banging on the door, blah, blah, blah. Looks like he kills the landlord, because we see the landlord hit the ground, blood out of his mouth. Joker going to the mirror, kind of trying to make sense of life in general. He takes some flesh-colored cream and starts painting his face, talking to himself in the mirror, and decides to go out on the town, basically.
Right. And so then we jump to Jim Gordon, who, again, because since this is the year that everything happened to Ace Chemicals, he's not commissioner yet. Okay. But he had just done a report on what happened at Ace Chemicals, and the actual commissioner says basically what you did, basically a propaganda piece for this vigilante, basically.
Vigilante.
And he's like, well, Batman basically saved everybody. What was I supposed to do?
Yeah, so this is that era where you're catching flack from everyone in the office because they're all taking a piece of the pie. They're all enjoying their cushiony jobs of not being honest cops, and Jim Gordon is the outsider in the room, and it really shows through his interactions in this scene and how he gets along with the other officers.
Mm-hmm. Right. And as Jim Gordon then, goes off, we then see the commissioner having a discussion again that, this could be a problem, and what we do is we don't poke a problem, we end it. You solve it.
And we turn the page, and then we flash forward back to where the story started, is what I'm assuming Sorrentino's art kicks back in. Holy crap, this didn't even feel like Sorrentino at first until I saw the way that he drew Batman. Some of the wildest, unexpected, beautiful art, like art by every definition of the word. We get one page here where it looks like a Joker. It looks crucified, where he's in constraints and everything, and just some dialogue coming in. And then like you see him constrained in one panel, and then in the next panel you see somebody dead underneath his restraints and a note left there on it. And Batman enters, and this is where we get the Ben Affleck Batman, which, if he always drew Batman like Batfleck, I would not be mad. Down to the texture on his suit, that was just so on point. Like, that's Batfleck. That's definitely Batfleck. Like, look at his shoulder and stuff. But he's just looking at the note that the Joker left that says, "I'll see you soon." So Joker's clearly broke out of this little containment that they
Yeah.
had him in.
I mean, that's just incredible. I mean, he looks so emaciated. It's like he just it's just an incredible because basically what we see is that or what we're told is that they captured the Batman. They captured the Joker. They didn't want to kill him. Barbara Gordon instead put him on this machine that basically he thinks he's still running around doing whatever he wants to do. Um, Bruce Wayne comes in, or Batman comes in and says, "Little do they know that I basically programmed it so that he loses every time. He loses to me." Um, but rather than kill him, they kept him in this state, which is basically, inactive or whatever. We go back again to the year one where he is now Joker has put all the flesh. He pulls a Jack Nicholson, puts the flesh
Mhm.
stuff on. He goes to a bar, and as these people are arguing in a bar, he basically inserts himself into their argument, gives them some lip or whatever, and then we see some people come. The two of them go at it. He basically takes a bottle, crushes a bottle, sticks the bottle into somebody's knife, and then before you know it, um, he then suddenly finds someone because some of his makeup comes off, and so you can see the white face. And one of the people that was in the bar realizes that he was one of the people in the Red Hood gang.
Yeah, it's like, boss, you're back.
Yeah, yeah,
Where you been?
yeah. And so he says they decide to go off together. They talk about some things. I think it was called number 22, right? Yeah, 22.
Yes.
Yep.
22.
Right.
There's a lot of those.
Yeah. Um, and so then we go back to the person from the commissioner, who is. Oh no, sorry, that's not the commissioner. Sorry.
No, we go
Oh,
from them walking out of the bar, and it shows us
right,
for the first time the shadowy figure in the corner that witnessed
right,
all of this stuff, and we're not sure who he is. But a phone call is made to the Red Hood gang, or what remains of it, without any leadership. That, yo, he's alive, and we just spotted him at the bar. So they're looking at how they want to proceed from there. And then we get a little couple shots of the Red Hood gang operating without any leadership, Batman intervening. We get a really cool shot of a fist coming through a windshield of the gang's car while they're running away from a jewelry store score. And you get to see the purple glove, which I love that, like
yep,
a little detail there. Flashing through this really fast, Batman's kept out of panel for most of it, but he pretty much shows that Batman's operating, caught the gang, wrapped them up, left them for the cops, and Gordon's doing his thing, and then he
right.
goes up
With
the
with
building to
Bat
go.
with Batman here, obviously wearing the Greg Capullo uniform costume because it has like the pads on the knees and the arms
Mhm.
and the legs and everything, and the purple gloves. So again, call out to lots of different things. Well, we'll tell you in a second all the call outs we think that we've seen, but yeah. So um, that was the Black Hood gang that was
Yeah,
copying the Red Hood gang. So
yeah, and they make a reference to like how the Gray Ghost gang was out.
right,
So just an influx of copycat gangs with the influx of vigilante
right.
justice fighters.
Right. Batman and Lieutenant Gordon having to have another conversation. And then we flash back again to the Joker and number 22, who are basically having another discussion, and they see Batman, swinging through the air. Um, and oh,
Cool
look,
shot.
yeah, and an ad for the new Justice League versus Kong.
Let's go.
um, and
Just the sight of Batman kind of throws
yeah,
Joker off. He runs off, leaves 22 behind, and he runs off to the water's edge,
mhm,
a little pond nearby or the bay or wherever. And he's not got that cocksured craziness about him. He's definitely not even killed even for the Joker. The Joker is consistently crazy. This isn't necessarily that.
mhm.
And he's like going by the edge of the water, looking at his reflection, trying to even choke himself in there. And then someone calls out to him and says, "Chaos that fears isn't really chaos at all." And we see the man from the bar the shadowy man who witnessed the bar fight, has now approached the Joker.
Right. And we find out as he asks him who he is, what makes him so qualified. He says, because I'm the smartest man in the world and he trained Batman. So another call out that we'll get to in a second. And then we jump again, and we have Andrea Sorrentino again. In the future, and this time the Joker is around, and in the panel here, it almost looks like in the panel just below him, just below that where we see Batman. That to me almost looks like a Christian Bale cowl.
Christian Bale. Yep. Because of how narrow and
Exactly.
taking up the
It comes
master.
right in. Exactly. So we find out that basically what's happening. This is where you find out that the Joker has been, he's Jokerized, basically, at least the immediate area, if not the
Like The
world.
Walking Dead, but with
Right.
Joker infected individuals, and that's how the issue ends with us. So
Right. Right. Like I said, this is weekly, but there are a lot of call outs in here. We've already talked about, you saw Ben Affleck, possibly Christian Bale. We had Year Zero. We have the Knight, which is the person that trained Batman. That's a call out to the Knight, and which was Chip Zdarsky and Giuseppe Camuncoli who did this issue. We have the the panel with the Joker, almost like crucified or whatever in there. To me, that gave me an Arkham Asylum
Arkham Asylum, yeah.
vibe as well. Again, it was
We
Dave
had the
McKean who
three
did that, but
Jokers call
yeah,
out. We
we have,
had the Batman 900. There's a name for that run, but
yeah,
the whole
right,
Red Mask storyline. So this is like pulling so many elements from across the board and bringing it in. So like this is actually it's not all over the place. It's definitely
right,
methodically focused, but there's so much to this
right.
that it's really hard to like I said it before, I don't know how I feel even after I read it, and I don't really know how I feel even after dissecting it and talking about it, because this is true foundation setting when there's no direction yet. All we did was foundation set, and the next issue is I'm very excited to read it. I don't know if it's because I'm going to love it or because I'm going to hate it. I'm very excited to read it because I'm so curious on what is this still.
Right. And for me, although I did like this issue as well, I have the same feelings that you have. But one of the things that I got when I was done, or even actually, let me rephrase that before I even started, was, is this something that we really need? The Joker is chaos. Will it kind of take the luster off the Joker by trying to figure out exactly how he does everything and how he became everything? He's pretty much just chaos, and that's what he is. And so to try to put order into his life, is that kind of going against the character of the Joker?
Yeah, that's a very valid point. And I'd be like, I don't know, for a fun just attempt at a story speculation here, this character that's reoccurring from the night, it would serve the Joker very well if he attempts to put order to his chaos and it costs this character his life.
Hmm.
And it doesn't work, it doesn't take. Just the madness is just the madness is the madness, and it's inside this man kind of thing.
Right. Right. So that's by the time we get to the end of the three issues, I'll be interesting to know, is it something that I liked the story, but I didn't like the fact that we did it with the Joker? Or is it something that, just because you can write a story about something, should you?
We'll find out.
Does it work against the character type of a thing? So
We'll
we'll have to
definitely
see.
find out.
We will. Issue number 2, part 2 comes out next week, so we'll be back again with part 2, hopefully a step closer to figuring out where everything's going. As a reminder, don't forget to hit the like button. Don't forget to subscribe. Leave us a comment. What did you think of this issue? If we missed something, which we probably did, tell us what we missed or we got wrong, because it was very easy to miss things and get things wrong here. But that's going to be it for this edition of DC Comics Deep Dive. I am Paul. He is Mark.
But we are Legion.
And you are now leaving Sector 2850.